Welcome to Project Pack 25. This is day 2. My name is Rick.
Hi, I'm Maria.
And we're all about drawing behind in this project pack.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Which
going
is
to...
a great part of Zentangle, right?
Yes. I'm using these tools for today. And on one of these beautiful white tiles, and just taking a moment for appreciation and gratitude for the materials and for the opportunity to put pen to paper and share it with you all. So I'm going to start with a Micron 08, and I'm going to go right to tangling. I'm going to start with an orb in the middle, and this is the Tangle Fangle. And Fangle uses the orb and an S shape. And I'm using that takeoff and land, or that takeoff from the orb, just slightly retracing it.
And turning your tile each time so that it gives you a sort of a similar S.
Yes, exactly. And that's a really big deal in the whole Zentangle method is turning the tile under your hand. And it doesn't matter exactly how many you do, but a few, 4, 5, 6. I think I get 5 in here.
And they don't even have to be the same length. You can see some of them are a little bigger than others.
Exactly. And then I'm going to use that same takeoff and land, and this is a real awesome trick. Just going to go and then curve that down as if I were going back into that orb. And this is a tangle Maria came up with. And it was one of those really cool things that she texted Molly, said, "Oh, we came up with this new tangle." And Molly said, "Well, where are you?" And we said, "We're at Fangs." And it's like a restaurant nearby.
A sushi bar.
Sushi bar. And Molly goes, "Oh, it's a fangle." So that's how it got its name.
It happened so fast that it was almost like, oh, okay, yeah.
And now I'm going to, isn't that really cool? It's like one of those pinwheel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do a really thick aura in the middle of it. And how we came up with this, or how Maria came up with this back in the days of newspapers and classified ads and legal announcements in the back, she would just tangle and come up with these new ideas until it came to be something that we could create a step out for. So there's that same shape with the inner auras. Right? And in the spirit of drawing behind, let's continue that as if those inner auras opened up a window. And just trace it.
That adds magic, right?
Right? So all of a sudden, isn't that cool?
Mm. And it also gives it 3-dimension.
Right.
Right?
And you'll see how I'm hovering over it. So I'm sort of like literally drawing behind by hovering it so I know, where I come out on the other side. Right? A whole different look there. So I'm going to cap my 08. And I'm going to use an 01.
01 is still my favorite. My go-to pen.
And I'm going to put a very, very thin aura in the middle of this. So in each one of these, we'll put an inner aura on the outside and on that inner part that we just opened up, that little window. And also where it goes behind there. And we'll do that on every single one. remembering to turn your tile in whichever way is comfortable for you. Nice relaxed grip on the pen.
It gives us a nice look, having the two, the difference between an 08 and an 01.
Yes.
You know.
And now I'm going to go right up to that inner aura, and still using my 01, I'm going to put these orbs in, but you'll see I'm doing each of them so one is drawn behind the other. So instead of squishing them up against each other, just going to put them one after the other, drawn behind. And I'm going right up and over that inner aura. And you'll see that, part of the purpose of that inner aura is that it gives a little bit of separation with that outside 08 string. Just sort of frames it really nice.
And you should not be afraid of having different size orbs, because it really adds to the composition as opposed to taking away from it.
Right.
If they were all exactly the same size, then it would, I don't know, it'd just
be all the same size.
Yeah, it's kind of boring.
And the way I'm deciding which one, which size to do is which one, I'm just making it as big as it can fit in the space. So that really big one, well, it was where the two arms were coming together. There was a big space. So just however big an orb you want or will fit, just go into your pen and find that orb, and it magically appears.
Oh, you're jumping around.
I'm jumping around. And
I can see you thinking as you're going along.
Exactly. Yeah. And that whole thinking part is okay, I'm looking at the tile and letting the tile, communicate with me. I might have had one idea, and in fact, in this case, I did have an idea. I'm just going to go and, fill each one of these. I don't know, what would you call those? Petals or fins or whatever?
That's the word. There's a word for that.
Yeah. We'll come up with
a leaf shape. It's a leaf shape.
Leaf shape. Yep. And then so my idea was, well, I'm just going to fill each one up with those orbs. Until I got to this point, and this looks sort of cool with two of them unfilled and three of them filled. So
it leaves the viewer with that, I wonder why he did that. And so it makes them think about what you're doing, except instead of just doing the same thing every time.
Right. And really responding to the tile.
So Rick is using this gray micron right now, which I use a lot too, because if it's almost like using a pencil, but it's more permanent, and it has a different, you don't have to sharpen it. I'm pretty lazy right now. I'm pretty lazy, and I find that this pen also does ghost tangling really nice if you ever wanted to use it. And I'm filling in all the little interstices, but it fills it in, looks like a pencil, but it still leaves a little bit of contrast between the black and the gray. Mm-hmm. So the interstices still have a definition as a different element there. Well, it's more complex than putting black in there. Right. So it adds another level. Yeah. And so just going around to each one of those leaves, and this is actually really fun, and again, turning your tile whichever way is most comfortable. You're going to enjoy having this pen in your little bag of tricks. And remembering to cap the pen and cap it with the cap that fits the pen, or, I mean, they all fit, but that goes with the pen, yeah. So here I'm taking my regular graphite pencil, the black one, and the black painted one, and just putting down a dollop of graphite to emphasize that over and under
of those orbs. So wherever one goes under, let's put a little graphite there. And you'll see I'm pointing the tip of my pencil, to the edge that I want the most, precision. Because I want to get it right up to that little beautiful orb.
So he's turning his tile to accommodate the shading the same way as drawing, because that's the way your hand works the most efficiently.
Yeah. And I'm not covering the part that I'm, shading up to. Now look at this. So with the tortillon, just softly inviting the graphite into the fiber and just bringing it out a little bit, because I really want it to not shade the whole orb. So you got that nice contrast. Look at the difference there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I start, in this case, I put the graphite all over all of it. But you may also want to do one leaf and then put the tortillon, put the graphite down and then shade it with the tortillon or smooth it with the tortillon, just to enjoy the process and see what it's going to look like. So now that I've got all of those orbs shaded, I'm using that darker graphite pencil, which...
This is a new addition to our bag of tricks.
Our repertoire.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use that to shade the over and under of those leaves. So where one leaf goes under the other, I'll add some of that nice dark graphite. And here you can see the benefit of having put that inner aura in, because it gives a nice separation where the leaves go over each other. Whereas if those orbs were right up to that line, it wouldn't have that same separation. Just find all those places. And it's really neat to observe the difference between when you put the initial amount of graphite down, and then when you go back and smooth it out with the tortillon,
that's when the magic happens.
It really is so much fun. So I've got all of the graphite down with that new pencil, and I'll bring back my tortillon. And just gently, I'm very, very little pressure, and just sort of pulling it out a little ways, not far, but look at that. Look at the difference. It really is fun. And it's also fun, finding all the places. I'll go through it and think I've got them all, and then find another one I missed.
Sometimes something simple like this on a tile is all you have time for in a day, instead of covering the whole tile. It's a really nice way to get your tangling in without feeling like, oh, I wish I had done more or whatever.
Yeah. And you can always come back to it.
Right.
And in this project pack, you'll notice we're really focusing on the black and white and the really basic origins of Zentangle. Really focusing on patterns as colors.
Back to the old one.
And now it's time to put my chop on here. So my chop fits in a circle, so I often like to find an area that I can just integrate my chop into the pattern of the tile. And there we go. And then sign the back.
Beautiful.
Right?
Simply beautiful.
Simply beautiful. And
Yeah.
then, again, appreciate gratitude and turning it this way and that.
Hold it at arm's length so you can
Yeah.
see the shapes and everything.
And there's another one, an early idea, and then another exploration of things I might do. And so we hope you explore and come up with all sorts of wonderful things and share it with us on the app. So, bye for now. We'll see you later.
See you later. Bye.